All right, everyone, it's Gavin and Rory here from Gamescom 2015, and I just had a good old look at WWE 2K16, starring this guy. What's his name, Rory?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Austin.
That Austin.
No, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think you meant to say.
That's the one. It was one or the other. It was one or the other.
Funny you should mention that, because he hasn't often been in games lately, but he's the cover star. So, like, they did this really cool sort of presentation of like a trailer where he's digging a grave, well, digging up something, and he's digging up his old rattlesnake belt.
No.
Do you remember that?
No. I thought you were going to say like one of the, like a championship belts.
But like, to be honest, like I haven't watched wrestling for years, but I'm really into the video games. Like every year I get them, and you know, last year's wasn't that good. Like it was like, I think there was only something like 67 like models or characters in it, like which isn't a lot really. But this year apparently it's over 120, which is like double, because they really have like listened to like fans moaning about stuff and gone, you know, there's not enough characters in there, or we don't like this, the way this is gone, and it feels like they actually are listening. Which, how often does that ever happen with a developer, where they actually listen to fans?
So the roster presumably will span a number of generations of wrestling. So we have like some of the retro ones, some of the ones that maybe that I grew up watching. Kurt Angle, who I think is actually maybe still wrestling.
You're like 12. What ones did you grow up
13
watching?
This summer. So Kurt Angle, Rikishi, Kane. Remember Kane with the mask?
Are you just listing wrestlers you actually know now?
I'm listing the wrestlers that I had toys of as a child and used to play with those.
Well, like no, because you can go back and replay like old storylines and things like that. So they've got stuff from like the Attitude Era. They've got stuff, you know, like really like classic rivalries that you can sort of go back and play through, which is really good fun. But also they've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, like playable as the Terminator.
Amazing.
But like you can play as him in Terminator 1 or Terminator 2, so you can play him as like good guy and bad guy. And it seems like, even though we haven't seen him in action, they're really going to play up that sort of like good guy, bad guy thing, which is all about what wrestling's about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be really interesting to kind of mix things up and have him as a playable character. Because this is the first time that they've kind of taken someone, a character from a different,
as big as this,
definitely. You know, it's a little bit strange, but I mean, it's very fitting. It's very fitting. As soon as you kind of see, I mean, they did the kind of teaser where they had him walking through the bar, replicating the scene from Terminator 2, which was really cool, seeing him interacting with all these wrestlers. Yeah, it was fantastic.
How have you seen Terminator 2? You're not old enough to watch that.
Well, I went by myself. I just snuck in the back.
They showed us a tiny bit of gameplay, but it wasn't very much. But the one thing that I think is really cool about it is they've sort of changed the pin system. Yeah. So the pin system was kind of like a bar thing, and it was kind of like, you know, like old golf games. Yeah. Like where you have to like stop it. You still have to kind of do that, but it's a circle. I know that doesn't sound like they've just made a line into a circle, but it feels like it's a little bit more responsive, and you can actually control the feel of a match a lot more than you could before.
For better it's changed.
Oh, definitely, I think so, yeah. But then, obviously, I haven't played it yet, so we're gonna have to wait to play that. But it's coming out like super soon, like in October. Yeah. So, so keep an eye on that. And for everything else, WWE, keep it right here on IGN.